Welcome back to the Hawkeye Garage. I'm Joe. This week we have the 3rd gen back. Yes, it's outside. GX is inside, where we're going to be doing another cheap and easy DIY mod for the interior to help out my completely ruined driver's seat foam. Stay tuned. Yep, we are going to tear the driver's seat apart. I'm going to be replacing the bottom and the back foam. They are just completely deteriorated. The bolsters, on the door side are completely shot. Thankfully enough, the fabric is in pretty good condition, speaking. And I didn't want to replace the seats with different seats because since I have gray sport interior, it's kind of rare. It's kind of in good shape. You'll see later. Even though the seats are clean, they're definitely discolored, so I'll probably end up getting some seat covers in the future, but I will be able to retain those factory gray sport seats. Anyway, you can buy those foam pieces online. They're about 150 bucks a piece, and if you had a really, really nice 3rd gen, it would be worth that money. Mine, not quite so much, but it is well worth spending $30 at the junkyard for a good passenger seat. That's right, we can tear the passenger seat apart and take the foam from that and put them in the driver's seat. You can do that with almost any bucket seat with very little or no modification at all. I've already done this to the 3rd gen and I can tell you it required 0 modifications. Sometimes you will have to take a razor blade and trim the foam for like a hinge or a lever depending on which side of the seat they're on and if that part of the foam covers that part of the seat. And in the 3rd gens, it didn't matter. They just directly swapped over. It even had the correct holes for like the lumbar support lever on the driver's seat. So I lucked out there, and let me just tell you, it has made a huge difference. Yeah, I think that seat foam is pretty much shot. I had to go to the floor instead of the workbench because it started just raining foam out of the cover once I started taking it off. Alright, I did not or have not shown like the entire seat disassembly process just because there's a ton of videos out there on doing that, and all seats more or less are the same. The biggest difference is whether the cover is held on by Velcro or by Hog Rings. This one is held on by Hog Rings. They're hard to cut through with just like a pair of side cutters, unless you have like a really, really good pair of side cutters, and in that case you probably don't want to ruin them. Just use a pair of needle nose pliers, regular pliers, side cutters, grab them and then just twist them and kind of pull them and like just unfish it. That's been the easiest way. I've done hundreds of them. That's my recommendation for that. On this particular seat, the little things that hold the headrests in place. If you're doing your back seat foam, chances are it's destroyed, obviously. Just cut through it so that you can access these better, and you just have to pinch them from the bottom and just work their way up. Might need to get a screwdriver in there just to help with some leverage. That actually applies to a lot of other seats. Sometimes you have to like twist them 90 degrees and then pull up. These are the pinch and pull ones. And then there is the knob on the side for the height adjustment and then the lumbar adjustment. They use a little, it's kind of like a C-clip. You're not going to be able to see that. But just kind of push the seat foam in, use a little screwdriver, pop them out. The one for the knob is on the inside of the seat trim plastic, so you're really gonna have to get in there. I didn't know that's what it was, and easily enough I was able to get it. This one I did it with a Phillips. Like I just wedged it in there and popped it off. No big deal. I'm going to hog ring the cover back on. I will link the hog rings that I got from Amazon below. These have been the best ones that I've had so far. I have a couple sets of like really old sets of hog ring pliers because I've been doing this for a long time, and if I like see a set at a flea market or garage sale, I always just pick them up because it's nice to have a couple different sizes. So get the size of the hog ring that I got, and if you need the pliers, get the corresponding pliers to go with them. There's the foam on. Both of those are passenger seat foams. Like I said, they fit perfectly. I've had to make 0 modifications. Something else that you might want to address while you're at this point, check your frames over really well. If there's anything that's bent, anything that's broken. A lot of it is just spot welded together, so if you have a welder or access to a welder, you can put stuff back together. If things are cracked or bent, you can, use a vise and a wrench, stuff, bend them back, tack them all together. I've had to do that on a bunch of other seats too. The passenger seat frames, not really compatible. So if you have a broken one, get a driver's seat frame or fix it the best you have. Like I said, it's really not that difficult unless it's absolutely destroyed, or like if it's at a mount. For safety, try to find a good used one. Another quick tip. So this is the inside of the driver's cover, and then this is the door side. If you can tell, like when seat covers are made, there's a really thin layer of foam stitched onto the back of the fabric. Just gives a little bit extra cushion. That almost always deteriorates, and you can tell here that's pretty much gone. It is actually kind of hard to find that thin foam unless you order it from a specialty place online, but what works really good, and it's basically the same thing, is headliner material. The headliner foam stuff that you can buy at pretty much any, like Ben Franklin, Michaels, maybe Hobby Lobby. Just cut some pieces, some spray adhesive, try to piece that back in. It will actually make a big difference, especially in the way that it looks. It'll kind of fill the fabric back out. If you can't find that, felt will work too. Felt's pretty thick. It's pretty stout. Walmart has that stuff if you're not by a fabric store. But spray adhesive and then just that thin foam, or try it with some thick foam if you really got a bunch of deterioration and you don't have another seat pad. That would work probably too. Before... yeah, that's metal right there. And the after. I ended up actually using felt. I know I said headliner material works really good. I thought that I had some. Turns out that I didn't, but I did have some felt. So I cut some pieces to fit on both the bolsters on the insides of the covers, and then I also cut some pieces and glued them straight to the foam, just to help give some more, some rigidity, some structure to help try to keep the foam apart. This looks worse on camera, actually in person. These like stripes here, that is just where the fabric unfortunately has worn away from being smushed down and then being slid over constantly. I do have a couple spots where it has worn through, but like I said, I'm probably gonna get some vinyl seat covers, some like actual custom fit vinyl seat covers. This is my work vehicle, so it does get dusty and dirty, and the vinyl just, it wipes off really easily. I've got covers from a company in the past. If I do the same thing, you guys will see it obviously, but that's probably what I'll do. I've been driving it for a week since I've done it, and oh my gosh, it is so much more comfortable. This combined with the new armrest, it's like a completely different vehicle. It's more relaxing to drive. Obviously, it's much more comfortable. I have so much more support on both sides of the bolsters. That other seat was just absolutely, completely shot. And of course, you can see kind of on camera here what I was talking about, how unfortunately the seats, even though they are clean, I've scrubbed them, I've pressure washed them, they are 100% clean. They are very discolored. That's just, time and UV light has done that. But yeah, I'm so happy with how that turned out. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. Something I didn't mention, when I got that driver's seat, of course, it was dirty and, whatever from being at the junkyard. So I took it apart, made sure it was completely dry. It had been sitting with the window down, obviously, so I wanted to make sure it was completely dry before I started working on the foam. Took my steamer, steamed the foam, which of course helps clean it, kill any mold or bacteria that's in it, and it also revitalizes the foam, as long as the foam is pretty good to begin with, unlike my original foam. I'll drop a link down below on a video that I made years ago now on how you can do that, and how it really does help the foam quite a bit. So I did that, and yeah, like you guys saw, and like I said earlier, made a huge difference in the way that that seat feels. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, turn those notifications on. We drop videos every Sunday. A lot of DIY 4x4 stuff, Toyota, Lexus, off-roading, things like that. And then I'll drop occasionally videos on Wednesdays, like roasting coffee beans or mountain biking and working on bikes, stuff like that. Also follow the other links over to my Instagram and Facebook, where I post all of this stuff, plus plenty of other day-to-day, just everyday life stuff as well. If you have any comments, questions, down below, of course, or feel free to email me anytime, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. So until the next video drops, thank you for watching, take care, goodbye.